Hi everyone, Chris Stanley here, your Democratic candidate for House District 59 state rep race, coming to you today from my porch in Canfield. And today I wanted to talk to you about history. I've been a history teacher, I am currently a history teacher. I've studied history, I've been a tour guide to Washington, D.C. This is my passion and my life's work. So when I heard the president over the 4th of July weekend say that our children are taught in school to hate their own country and to believe that the men and women who built it were not heroes but villains, I was perplexed and angry, quite honestly. My bachelor's was in integrated social studies education, and my master's degree is in liberal studies, which is the combination of philosophy, political science, history, and literature. And that not only gave me, a depth of knowledge about history, but also how to teach that history to our students here in Ohio. What I try to do with my students, my goal I set with them is to begin the practice of historical thinking. And what do I mean by that? Well, I want them to be able to interpret, analyze, and use information about past events, to realize the complexity of history with all of its pieces and the perspectives that cannot be captured through one single narrative. So let's give an example of this. 8th grade starts with the Age of Exploration, which of course is heavy on Christopher Columbus and the Columbian Exchange. Now, of course, was Christopher Columbus brave and bold and cunning and industrious and ambitious and intelligent? Absolutely he was. Did his voyage change the entire course of world history? No doubt about it. Is that where we stop? Because if it is, then you're not learning history, you're learning a narrative. For example, in school, did you learn that when he sent 500 Taino slaves back to Queen Isabella, she was so reviled and repulsed because she said these were supposed to be Spanish subjects, she sent them back? Or did you learn that he was arrested, Christopher Columbus was arrested for the brutal mismanagement of the Hispaniola colony and for the decimation of the Taino population? He was sent back to Spain in chains and stripped of his titles. Did you learn that? Probably not. You learned the narrative that in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And so, of course, you're confused as to why people are upset that we glorify Columbus. And again, you have to be able to analyze and interpret. You have to be able to have historical thinking to take the man as a whole, right? He should not be erased from history. He has an important place in world history. But does that also mean we praise him and glorify his name? That's where the discussion's being had, right? But you have to understand why people would be upset. And until you educate yourself, until you engage in historical thinking, you're not going to have a full perspective of history. Listen, if we want knowledgeable citizens, if we want our students to know our history and our people to know our history, I'm calling upon our state and federal government right now to invest in K-12 civics, social studies education. Let's not stop there. Let's also fully fund museums. Let's promote history and social studies as vigorously as we do STEM programs. Let's invest in programs like the National Endowment for the Humanities and in national parks. And if you're not on board with those things, then I will kindly invite you to stop complaining about the lack of knowledge of history in our country. Our students don't get taught history until 7th grade, essentially, and nothing about American history until 8th grade. We have to change that now. Now, of course, this conversation and many others like it, this is within the context of this larger conversation we're having right now in our nation over our history, including our racial history, of course. But as FDR said in his first inaugural in 1933, this is preeminently the time to speak the truth, the whole truth, frankly and boldly. Nor need we shrink from honestly facing conditions in our country today. This great nation will endure as it has endured. We will revive and we will prosper. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are afraid our history is being erased, but I'm here to tell you that comment was targeted at people like me. I'm a Democrat. I'm a history teacher who teaches to students who are 90% minority in my classrooms. I'm a person who loves my country a great deal, but who also recognizes that we still have a long way to go. We have a lot more work to do to get us to that more perfect union, to create a just an equitable world and society that we all want. The only thing we have to fear, quoting Roosevelt again, is fear itself. What did he mean by that? Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needing efforts to convert retreat into advance. That is happening today in our society. We have frank discussions to be had ahead. We will have hard truths to face, from our racial history to our current hypocrisies in Ohio with the GOP supermajority that is leading our state to destruction with socialism for the rich and capitalism for the rest. But we will have these conversations honestly. We will work together to continue the great legacy of those who came before us. And we will return Ohio. We will bring it back from the precipice of the corporate welfare state it has become, led by fearmongers and demagogues. And we will return it to a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This I promise you. Thank you, everyone. Take care, and please practice historical thinking. Bye now.